and welcome to the OC community. And this is a live recording with Thomas. So hello, Thomas.
Hello, Matthias.
Very good to see you. And I really look forward to spend time with you today. So Thomas, could you tell us just a little bit about yourself? Name, age, personal status, where do you live?
Yeah, sure. Well, my name is Thomas Marcussen, as many of you know. I'm 36 years old, married, 2 kids. So enough to do with in my spare time, that is. I'm based out of Denmark. I think it's about 20 kilometers north of Aarhus. So a bit out on the countryside, that is.
That sounds really, really nice. So the countryside, is there any special thing you like about that, or why don't you live in the city, for example?
Well, for one thing, it's much cheaper to get a fiber connection out on the countryside. That's a big thumbs up. But also there's good room, lots of place, and it's affordable.
Yeah, affordable. That's a key word, I believe, for many IT guys. That's nice. So, how long have you been in the business?
I think I've been in the business for about 20 years. I actually started out in at least my professional career in 2001 with a large production company where I worked with pretty much the same thing as I do today, client management, but the flavors changed a bit over time. In 2001, I worked with ZenWorks, Novel Groupwise, NT4 servers, but also client management, application deployment, large-scale rollouts. I worked for a global production company at that time, so a lot of traveling, a lot of getting around.
Yeah, I guess the time has changed for traveling, right?
Yeah, a lot. And again, for good and bad, I used to travel a lot. I don't do that so much today, but it has its perks. It's more spare time, more free time, less traveling time. But again, it's also nice to travel once in a while. So
Yeah, I agree. So
hopefully we'll be allowed to do more traveling in the future.
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully. So I guess you're vaccinated, or is
Yeah.
how's that? Yeah, okay. Me too, by the way, because I hope that in 2022 maybe we can go to some conference in the US, right? That would be nice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to a conference with an in-person event. It's long overdue, I guess.
Yeah, it is pretty much long overdue. And these virtual events, it's great, but it's not the same because you don't get away from the house. You don't have that time slot reserved for in-depth do what you do and not having your family right on your side and yeah, it's just so much nicer to go away and then do your thing and then come back home, right?
Yeah, it is. And you're much more. You're when you're on spot. You're dedicated. You don't get interrupted by the kids or the dog or whoever comes around.
Exactly. I get your point.
Hopefully,
So
22 will be the year.
yeah, we hope that Microsoft will open up, right? So
Exactly.
yeah. So what about your spare time? What do you prefer to do? Is it all IT or?
Well, it's a bit of a mix, I guess. I like to. Well, in general, I like to work with technology, and I also do that in my spare time a bit. But with some different flavors, I love to play with home automation and 3D printing. 3D printing is it's a lot of fun, but it also takes a lot of time, or at least it can. But
Okay, 3D printing. So is that some kind of recipe you put into a printer and then it does something, or how does that work?
Yeah, pretty much. It's if you can draw it, you can print it. So there's a lot of good stuff for your imagination to, yeah, whether or not it's just, it could be a simple print like a cup holder or a phone holder, but also accessories for the monitor, for the webcam, for a chair if you need a spacer or something like that. It's yeah, it's really it's a nice tool to work with, and you're really only limited by your imagination and your time, because it can be very time consuming.
So things that you normally would buy from China, that you will 3D print that yourself now.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a cool gadget. I like that. Yeah. So I guess you spend a lot of your spare time blogging as well, because you are a part of the official contributor on the Modern Endpoint Management LinkedIn group, right? And that takes time also from the everyday work. And of course, you need to do something to get the money in the bank. And yeah, and then the spare time, just goes with blogging as well. So which company do you work at currently?
I'm an independent contractor as of recently, and I'm working out of with a partner called Apento. It's as a league of multiple freelance contractors with the main focus of endpoint manager and cloud-based technology.
Hmm. So a lot of Azure, or do you do AWS or other clouds?
Mainly, I only do Azure. My primary focus is endpoint manager, Intune, config manager, MSI, MSIX, pretty much everything related to the client. I rarely touch AVS, but that's it really depends on the customers.
Hmm. So you said MSIX and stuff, and that's really app format, right, for automation of applications?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do a lot of that at your customers, and how much is MSIX, Contra, maybe
Well,
MSI or other formats?
I I do believe we're still in a process of transitioning to MSIX. Mainly, it's MSI at the customer locations, depending on the customers. But we do see a small shift in the FV to MSIX where possible, and I think we're going to see a lot more of that in the future. Hopefully, at least.
Yeah, because MSIX is it's not brand new, but it is new, and there's a difference in that format, right? You need to have a certificate on your device before you can install the package, right?
Yeah, you
So
do.
so the security maybe is a notch up on security.
It's a big notch up in security, and I believe we've been wanting that for quite a few years. I know it's possible to sign MSI, but it's not required by the client machine. So there's a lot of people not doing that.
Hmm, that's
But
cool.
in MSIX, I guess you get a lot of security by default, and yeah, people tend to yeah, to use the defaults, and if that's the easiest way to go around, right?
That's how it is. Sometimes when you are doing consultancy work for a customer, they just want it to work and not the best solution and more proper and secure solution. So go with the flow, go with whatever works, right?
Exactly. But
Yeah.
I guess I'm hoping that we'll see more of MSIX. I remember when it first was released, and there's been a lot of changes to that as well. But I still haven't seen a full adoption of MSIX, at least not with my customers. But I guess we will see that in the future, and as the solutions change and follow the flow.
I hope you're right on that one. Where do you work from? Do you work from home, or do you go to a office, or how do you work these days?
Well, usually it's from home, but it's I think we're seeing a small shift to work at the customer locations again, at least a couple of days a week maybe. At least it is currently that for me, and hoping to get more out basically for the rest of the year as well. I had a lot of on-site visits planned, so hopefully we will be able to follow through with that. But otherwise, it's from home. A lot of my regular work days is from home, either because the customers' locations are shut down, closed down, or it's recommended to stay home, or because they are based out of Denmark. I have some customers, far away from Denmark, basically, and usually I wouldn't visit them unless it's required. So most of my time is from home.
Okay. And that brings us to the next question. How many hours do you put in it?
Well, that's something I wouldn't want to count, but it's a lot of hours. If you're writing some blogs, if you're working on something, it's always nice to get it done, and sometimes it gets a bit out of hand. But well, usually it's, let's say, 50 hours a week. It's no less than that, but if there's an issue, if there's something fun or something that just needs to get done, it's more than that. But it goes up and down.
Yeah, and the working from home, that's really upscaled the time efficient, right? You're really more efficiency on your daily work, but also the brain is more fried because you go from back to back meetings. So it's like, okay, I have this meeting with this customer, and then I don't even get 5 minutes for a little break. It's just back to back and problems on problems. And so there's I think sometimes it's great to sit in the car and just listen to some music and just relax before that you get home to the family, right? And then you have to make food and all that stuff. So yeah, working from home is fantastic, efficiency wise, but your brain also get more fried, yeah, right?
Yeah, I agree, and I can see that in a normal working day, in this type of work, if you have back-to-back meetings and you don't necessarily need to go on site, there's a lot of more meetings, a lot of more calls to tend to than there would have been if I would have been on site and focused with the customers. When I were to leave, I would sit in the car, maybe listen to some music and get my head around the day. But that's kind of a shift.
Yeah, it is. It is. So, a new question.
Sure.
When did you become an official contributor to this group?
I think it was in January this year.
Okay. And what did you do to get this award or offer from Angel who has this group?
Well, actually, I like to blog. I like to share ideas, tips and tricks and stuff like that. So I guess I've been doing that for quite a while. An Angel reached out to me and asked if I wanted to be an official contributor, and as I said, I would love to be, because I love to share my ideas. I love to get feedback, and basically, I love to help out in the community. So it was I was very grateful to be awarded one of the official contributors.
Yeah, and so that made you feel happy? Did it make you feel you more worth? Did you? How can you say that? It's like when you get such thing. It's How did you feel? Right? Did you? Was it like? Yeah. How do you describe that? It's like getting a new job, or?
Well, I think it's again, I like to share my ideas and my blogs, and I love to talk about technology. So from my point of view, I was just grateful. I was honored to receive the award and to be a part of it, and to be recognized, basically.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. So you've been part of the group for that maybe 9 months now. So what do you think of the group so far?
I love the group. I think it has a huge potential, and there's a lot of new members coming in. I especially love all the blogs and the discussions on the group, and I think a lot of people go there as well to really get a head start on an issue or the latest and greatest if there's something new with the product or an addition that was made to a product. It's always easy to find some new information there and to get the focused information and maybe only the relevant pieces, basically, because there's a lot of changes in products, especially from Microsoft these days, and it can be hard to follow all these additions. I think
Yeah.
the group really provides an insightful look into the features that's worth having a look at. And again, if there's an issue with something, you can always count on one of the contributors or one of the members has an opinion or maybe even tried that before and there's a solution. So from my point of view, the group is it's really shaping in a good way.
And if I don't remember wrong, I believe in January there was like 8,000 members. Is that somewhat correct? And now we are close to 15,000, right?
Yeah, there's been a huge step up in members.
Yeah. So double in 9 months. That is quite impressive.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a very large group, and there's a lot of good people there. And it's, I think, for each member that shares their opinion, discussion, engaging the community, it really heightens the value of the group.
Mm.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree on that. So if this group was not here, where would you go and seek that information about news, available tech on the web space?
Well, from my point of view, I would go to, and I still do sometime, uh, to the docs, the docs.microsoft.com. It's a good place. It's also become a better place today than it was in the past. There's a lot of new stuff there, and it's getting there much faster than it used to do. But again, there's also Twitter and Facebook groups out there. I think Twitter is a good place if you have something top of mind, and it is top of mind for multiple people, but it can be hard to track uh, what you're actually looking for, if it's just a bit of everything or something specific. And I think maybe Facebook groups or other groups are easier to find stuff in, but it depends if it's top of mind or not.
Mm.
But again,
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of different ways to get a hold of new technology and get the latest insights. But from my point of view, it's still a bit messy because you have to go to a lot of different sites and maybe follow specific people on Twitter or Facebook or wherever the input comes from. And it's yeah, it also takes a lot of time.
yeah, it does. So having a group with this much insight is just a huge bonus in my opinion. And
Yeah,
I like to go there and just scroll down in the group and see what people are sharing, and it's really impressive. Some of the other OCs have created some sort of YouTube channel where they just go through the topics from A to C, and it's like, wow, what enormous work they put into this community. And maybe they're just covering what the Microsoft Docs are covering, but again, some understand better when it's verbally set out. Somebody goes to a blog post and read that and understand that very well. We are different in the way that we receive information, and that's the good thing about this broad channel, right?
yeah, exactly. And I think it's a good thing to acknowledge that different people learn in different ways and have different ways of grasping new technology. And I think that's a good it's a good way here to get a head start with multiple ways, because it's not only one way of presenting content. There's a lot of different content, a lot of different contributors, and a lot of different ways to share the knowledge. And I think that's just great.
Yeah. So Thomas, we briefly touched upon which tech areas that you cover. So it was mostly in the mem space, as I recall it.
Yeah.
So what tech do you prefer to do blogging on? For example, you mentioned MSIX, which is also a huge area that I like to invest time in. Don't have that much time to invest in. So what if you were to choose one topic, which one would you blog about?
One topic. Oh, that's a hard one. Well, I can say usually what I blog about is what's top of mind for me and for my customers. So if I blog about something, it's usually because I'm engaged with a customer and we are talking about this specific area, this topic. So I'm not bound to one specific, but I do like endpoint manager, Intune, config manager. Basically, I've been working with the config manager part since forever, since SMS. So I am a bit I wouldn't say colored by that, but I tend to fall back to that, and that's also one of my main areas of working. So from that perspective, probably around MIM somewhere. But again, if we are working on specific projects where there's something interesting, there's something new coming, that will usually be my focus area. Or if we find a solution on something we've been working on for a while, or we find a workaround, do a workaround to achieve a better result in that case, doing the part of the normal process, I love to blog about that as well. The easiest way for me to find time and to blog about specific subjects is when I'm working with the subject, because I know it's an if I have an issue, it's much easier for me to document the issue as I work on it, document the progress and the solution as I have it in hand, and also it's much easier to test and verify that it's working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess if you have a if you have a problem that's not very normal or common, I guess it's hard to just make a device and put it in that state, that exactly state, and then make a blog post about it, right?
Yeah.
So doing that while you are at it, that's also one of my favorites. It's okay, I have the error right here. Let's document whatever is happening on my device. And then I know we have the docs. It says you should go A, B, C, but in this transition phase, it's not A, B, C.
Exactly.
Going to the cloud is not easy if you don't know how. There's a process, yes, and there's a documentation that says this is how the cloud products are working, and also on the config manager side, right? And then you can, for example, let's just take a topic and then you do some co-management. You enroll your devices, right? And then you change maybe a workload or two, and you see something that you haven't seen in the docs. Or, I mean, these are parts that are constantly moving. We are constantly getting new Windows OSs. In Windows 10, we have twice a year we have new OSs. In Windows 11, it's just came out the 5th of October. So there's so many configurations that Microsoft needs to test if they even test all their paths from a on-prem system to a cloud system. So guess what? Sometimes the docs are not describing everything. So that's why you are here, Thomas. That's why I am here. That's because we see these kind of problems and we take these problems and then we blog it to help others, right? That's what we like to do. And yeah, That's a nice way of helping others without getting a dime. I mean, this is for free, right?
It
You're
is.
doing this for free. So yeah.
But I think it's a lot of, I know it's for free, but again, if you help others, I'm sure you could get the help you need as well. I have one example here. One of the other days, there was something changed with an issue I had. Something was working, and all of a sudden it wasn't working. And I one stopped to the group, to the official group, and one of the other contributors had actually made a blog post about this. It was worth a lot to me in time, but also to my customer. So it's a bit of a giving and taking. I think it's good for the community, for others to share and learn what has happened and what happens around. So
And exactly, yeah.
It has a good value.
Exactly what you're saying there. That's the community. We help each other. We don't expect that we get paid. We have our day jobs. They get us covered, and then we have all the spare time, and that we love tech. We love to share. That's the community. The community love. I mean, I also seen a lot of issues, and then I've Googled it, and before I became the OC, I was just also I saw a lot of Anoop. Anoop, he posts so many blogs, and I mean, is there 10 Anoops, or is he one man army? I believe he's not doing anything else than blogging.
Exactly.
So he has seen a lot of these errors. So when you Google them, his posts is like, okay, this is the first hit. Esvar, for example, and a lot of other good guys from India really do a lot of good covering on both the Intune and the config manager side, right? So yeah, the community is really here to help and to share what we see on these dear Microsoft products. So Thomas, last question here. Any tips or tricks that you want to pass on to the viewers of this interview?
No, basically, I just want to let's say, have people, if you have an issue, share your issue, ask a question. If you have some feedback, or if there's something specific you want to elaborate on, reach out and let us know, basically, because that's why we are here. And we might have an opinion on it in some form, or have a blog post coming up. And I love to engage in discussions. There's not necessarily one solution to one problem, but there can be multiple, and it's always fun. I really enjoy shaping new solutions as well, and the best solution, those comes from discussions. So I would really appreciate it if people reached out and yeah, commented on the post. What do you need? What's missing? Do you want something else elaborated? That would be a huge help and a great benefit to the community as well.
I think that was a tip, and that was a great trick. So having these discussion is very important, and we have the fora for this. So just
Exactly.
get in there and get started on the discussions and read all the stuff in there. There's so many hours of reading.
And so much good stuff in there.
So much good stuff. Thomas, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for being on this interview, and to all the viewers, thank you for today. Stick in there. See you in the group.